Hi, Calvary Chapel Hemet family. I'm back for another week, and today I wanted to share a passage that's really been ministering to me recently and just helping me a lot. So let's get right into it. I'm going to be hopping around in the second half of Romans 12. So let's start and read verse 9. Let love be without hypocrisy. Abhor what is evil. Cling to what is good. And this just really is like, you need to love people genuinely. It's not, when you feel like it, or, you have to treat them the same always, which is really difficult, but it's like not okay to just look past that and be like, well, they're being nice to me, so I get to, really show them how much I appreciate them and love them. It's like, no, it's a constant thing you should always be doing. And it's a lot easier to do if your mindset is right and you're trying to embody Christ and he's your purpose behind it, as well as the strength behind it too, and just to not get in the habit of letting others affect how you treat them. So as well as being against evil and not wanting to participate in evil things, like it says, abhor what is evil and cling to what is good. It's just not to participate in evil things, and this doesn't mean evil things like killing somebody, but it could be as easy as or as simple as just thinking someone's annoying, or those little disgust comments, or things like that, just to be so against them and not be on that side, if that makes sense. And to break down anything not professed by God to be good is evil. That's kind of the good accountability. It's not things where you're like, oh well, that isn't too bad, or that thing I said to them, it was rude but it wasn't too bad. It's not, whatever isn't in the category of good is instantly evil. So it's just to constantly be thinking of what you shouldn't be saying or thinking, or things like that. And then let's move on to verse 10. Okay. Be kindly affectionate to one another with brotherly love, in honor, giving preference to one another. And giving preference, putting another before you, but constantly, not just again when they're nice to you or when they're cool. It's always they should always come first. And it just should become a habit. And then again, if we go back to verse 9, it's you love them so much you want to put them first, of course, so it's just starting with that and then letting it kind of seep into everything else you do. And now we're going to move on to 11. So not lagging in diligence, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. And oh my gosh, it's giving 100% no matter what the circumstances are. And whether that's the ministry you maybe don't like that you're in, or just again the person maybe, but it's not, it shouldn't matter. It's always unto the Lord. And why give 100% this day and then 10% that day? It's just should be a constant full fervent and just excited, and so. And then Pastor said this quote, which is really cool, and it said, trials don't excuse lack of love in the body or willingness to do his work. And that's just so, it's so good. It's you gotta do it. It doesn't matter. It's for the Lord at the end of the day, and you don't want to bring half-heartedness or just complaints or anything for something he allows you to do. He allows you to serve, whether that's just family ministry or actual in the church, singing, or whatever the other fun ministries are. But and then we're gonna jump a little bit ahead onto verse 16. So be of the same mind towards one another. Do not set your mind on high things, but associate with the humble. Do not be wise in your own opinion. And setting yourself higher than another is really, really easy when you focus on others and forget that the same problems they have, you have, but you just pretend you don't, and then you're extra examining it in someone else. It's just so easy because it's what? I would never do that, but you're acting like you didn't do that yesterday, all that jazz. And nowhere in the Bible does it say some children of God are to be treated with more respect or higher status. So we need to be careful of that mindset, because it's not okay to ever put yourself higher. And that's really easy when you do put yourself on the same mindset, like they are my brother, they are also a child of the Lord, so why would I want to think anything badly of them or say anything rude, just to stop, like to take the thought captive before it leaks. Because if you do place yourself higher, then those things start coming in, and so it's just so cool. Like, you need to stop it at the root. And Jesus himself stooped down to our level and allows us to have a better relationship with him. So who are we to, first of all, act like we are better than someone else, and secondly, to break down one of his own? Like, that's a child of God. You are, like, being either angry towards or rude and things like that, just to keep it in mind of just like, oh man. And then going back to the idea, like, well, you're supposed to love them, so that, if you love them so much, if anything, you'd be like a tiny bit lower because you're like, they're so amazing. But okay, and let's move on to, later in verse 21, it tells us not to be overcome with evil. And our minds can be, when thinking about annoying things or others or placing yourself higher than them, it's just like you're letting the, that evil side, that ungodly side, just take over, and then you feed it, and then it just, it goes from there. But this reminds me of Philippians 4:8, and that says, "Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things." And we can't feed or entertain those thoughts that aren't edifying to one another, because we're just told to keep pure thoughts. We're not supposed to think of negative things about each other or anything like that. And I was just at a college for the last year where I was around people, like 50 people a day, like all the time. So this is why it's so like people-centered, because I just got to realize a lot about myself and how just wicked and gross I can treat God's children. So this is why it's so much focused on like loving others, because it's so important, and we're always going to be around people no matter where we are, where we move, what time of your life it is. So it's important to just constantly be like, how does the Lord want me to handle this situation? How does the Lord want me to love this person, and things like that. So now we're going to be reading 17 through 19. So, repay no one evil for evil. Have regard for good things in the sight of all men. If it is possible, as much as depends on you, live peaceably with all men. Beloved, do not avenge yourselves, but rather give place to wrath. For it is written, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord." And we're called to love always, even when it's not our job. And it's not our job to get even. Yep, that one's a lot better. And it's not on us, and it's really relieving to know that you're not supposed to get revenge. It's like, it's not up to us. We're, that's, I don't know, it's just nice and like a freeing, like God frees us from so much, which I forget all the time. But like one thing specifically is that bitterness that could come up between relationships of friends and family, like, because you could just dwell on those hard things that either someone said to you or did to you. But the Lord helps us with the fact that we don't have to be thinking about that. Like, we just can give it to him and be free from it, and as well as just like it's not up to us, which is really sweet. Like, we're free. That bitterness that could be taking up our time and our thoughts, like, we don't have to be a slave to that anymore, which I thought was really sweet. And we can give it to him and leave it with him and just not be burdened. So he saves us from so much through his ways, and he knows exactly what's best for us, which is so sweet. Like, when his thoughts are higher than ours, and it's just so sweet to just realize that his ways are always better. And then you see it come to life, and you see how you enjoy so many more things, and it's just so sweet to be like, he knows what he's talking about. So it's cute. And loving and looking out for what's best instead of meditating on what's bad. Like, just one quick example, one of my closest friends I used to think was like horrible and kind of annoying. I prayed asking for help to change how I felt about her, because I was like, oh, this is not right, Lord, help me. And boom, just like that, I now enjoy her company and now have an amazing person who points me to the Lord and is there for me by my side. And it's like, God knows how draining and miserable hating someone is and like how it leads to worse things. Yet he shows so much grace. Like he sees our mind through that and still he blesses it and turns it around and helps us enjoy it so much more. Like why? But it's so sweet and he turns it into so much good and love, which is what he is. So and with that, I thank you so much for your time, and hopefully this wasn't all over the place and it'll help you love someone more, because it's so nice when you just get to appreciate what the Lord, opened for us. Like he put people around us for us to like enjoy and learn from and grow from each other. So I just hope that we all can just love each other more, and I think I already said this, but thank you for your time and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.